In this video, we're going to show you to install a door lock actuator on your Cadillac Escalade located on the driver's side front door. Now, in order to remove our door panel, we have a couple panels besides the main door panel we have to remove. First one is inside the door pull. We're going to use a small pocket screwdriver and just go inside and pop out this little insert piece right here that does expose a couple bolts inside. Our next one is up on top here behind the door pull. When you open this up, you're going to find a little notch right down on the bottom of this trim panel. Simply put in your pocket screwdriver, pry outward. This cover pops off and exposes another bolt in the back. On the top here, we have our power window switch panel. And use a trim tool. Start on the front, twist up, gently lift up and pull it forward. You can remove this here. On the back side, you're going to find a series of connectors. You're going to push in on the little tab and pull this out. Do that for all of these. Be sure when you're pulling on this here, you're not pulling on the harness itself. If you do need help doing this here, use your pocket screwdriver. Push in on the tab and gently pry it out. Work out that connector. Go ahead and set that switch aside. We're gonna go ahead and disconnect our door lock. So you're gonna push up on this, and there's a little cover right here, pocket screwdriver. Just go in there, gently pry this out. And when that comes out, slide this up, reinsert the little clip. And all this does is it locks onto the threaded rod. So do not lose that. Install that back into this lock unit and we'll set that aside. On the lower panel here, we have a little light. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can pull the harness out of the backside when we pull the panel out, but it's a lot tougher to hold that panel and reach down to undo that harness. Simple enough to do it here. Pocket screwdriver, come around the backside, gently pry and pull this unit out. There's just a couple little tabs supporting this in place, and here it is. Tilt it and then wiggle this out like so. There's 4 little tabs on here holding that. Tuck that inside, set this aside. Inside the door pull, you're gonna have 2 10mm bolts. I'm gonna use a 10mm socket and extension. I also have a magnet here. Sometimes you're lucky enough to pull that out, or you can use your magnet. Makes it nice and easy to grab that. Do the same here. Grab that one there. Once you get these 2 out, we're going to move up to the door handle up top, and there is a 10mm bolt right there as well. Our next step is to pull the door panel off. There is a series of plastic button retainers around the perimeter, locking the panel in place. Now, my choice is to come around the front side here. You can get your hands inside and gently pull out towards you. Work your way around the perimeter. This point here, we're going to lift this up and off. On the back side of this door panel, there are going to be some cables attached to the door handle here. So we're going to have to pull this off and separate those cables from the door handle. On the inside trim here behind the mirror, there's going to be a trim panel right here. Just put your fingers behind there, pop that out, release that and set it aside. Go ahead and lift up on that panel, giving us access to the cable on the back. Now, where the cable comes around to the back side here, you want to grab the barrel end here and twist it. And what you're going to find are little tabs. There's going to be 1 and 2. There's 2 tabs, so I'm going to use my pliers here and pinch those. And you have to pull the cable out. So those are 2 tabs that you have to pinch in order to release that. And then you can swing this out and pull the ball end out. There's a single wire harness right here. Go ahead and remove that door panel and set it aside. Let's remove our insulator pad here, or water shield. Now when we go to pull this back, be careful. There is an adhesive that runs along inside this groove on the backside, securing this to the door shell. What I'm going to use is a razor blade. And I'm going to cut the adhesive as we pull this apart. You see it's already coming apart here a little bit. So you want to work this off and try not to tear it. This adhesive is normally a self-sealing. And reusable. So remove this here. Set that aside. Now what we need to do is reinstall our window switch here so we can operate our glass up and out of the way. This harness here with the large brown connector and the black connector are to operate the glass. So I need to install these here. I'm going to put our key in the on position. And then shut off that key. Now once you go inside the door shell on the back side of the latch, this is the latch unit itself, there are two rods. This one here has a yellow clip on it that locks it into place. So I'm going to use my 90-degree pick and come around the back side. And we need to release this. Here we go. Now the actuator cable comes up and is held in place by these two plastic retainers. We're going to use our trim tool and pop these out. In the door jamb here, we have 3 T30 Torx bits, Torx bit screws. I'm going to use our Torx bit to go ahead and loosen and remove these. Now once we remove these 3 completely, the latch mechanism itself will probably fall down on the inside a little bit, but it'll be hung up by one other rod that is secured on the inside. And the reason for that is that once we remove this here, we'll have to grab that actuator on the inside, rotate it, and then disengage that other rod. Now all I have to do is reach in here. Gonna rotate this. So you can disengage that other rod. This lower 10mm nut here secures the lower portion of our window regulator bracket. I'm going to loosen it, remove that. And if you follow up to the top of the door here to our regulator bolt, we're just going to loosen this. Now that we have the upper one loose, we're going to go ahead and grab that window regulator bar that goes vertical right here. We're going to lift it up and push this stud in. We're not going to remove this one from up top. We just want to pivot this. So our dual lock rod here had just popped out of here. It simply goes in and rotates into that little plastic like that. And then you feed this up and in through this rubber grommet at the top here. So we can go ahead and pull that out and set that aside for now. And on the top here, we have our electrical connector. You can use our pocket screwdriver. And there's a red lock unit here. As you pull up on this here, it actually disconnects your connector. You have to insert your door lock rod into the lower eyelet here and pivot that in. We're going to feed this up and in. We also have to install our electrical connector. So push that in and then press down on the red lock and it'll suck the connector in and lock it into place. What we have to do now is manipulate this past the window regulator track, up and in, feeding this rod up into here, as well as on the back side here on our one that we removed had broke. We need to fit one of the other rods into this here. So we're gonna feed it in with this almost horizontal and then twist it and the rod will slip into that and lock into place. We're just going to pop this rubber grommet out so we can go ahead and get that rod set in there. Here we go. I'm going to pivot this, push that rod in. Now at this point, we have the back rod inserted into that eyelet. We just used our pick to get that in there. Now we're going to line up our latch unit and we're going to install the 3 bolts on the outside. Go ahead and get this lined up. Now that we have all of these started, go ahead and snug these down. Now these are not slotted holes, so once you get these lined up, it's going to self-align. All right, go ahead and snug these down. We can install our rubber grommet on our door rod here. This latching mechanism works similar to the other one. It's just visibly different. You just open it up and you fit the threaded rod right into this. You're going to press it into it and then close that little latch. And you're going to hear it snap into place. Now with that in place, you can grab the handle on the outside, pull it, and you can see it actuating just fine. Now we can go ahead and run our cable here. Let's go ahead and grab our window regulator track here. We need to get that bolt down on the bottom here. So just grab that, feed that through, install the nut. Let's go ahead and secure this bottom one. And don't forget to secure the nut up top. I'm going to install our key, turn it to the on position, put our window down, shut off the key, and remove our switch. Install the water shield here. Ideally, you want to get it back in the same place as before. So go ahead and line everything up, and you can go ahead and press it back on. We have our door panel in place. Install this. This is for the light at the lower portion of the door. Feed that through our door panel. I'm going to bring this up and install our cable end here. Put that in. Pull this around. Push it in. I'm going to grab our cables here. Let's go lift up our door panel. I'm going to hang the upper portion on the door sill. Pull your light bulb harness through. Now at this point here, once the door is hung on the sill, you want to go around the edge here, pull this out and make sure that the plastic pins line up with the holes in your door on both front and back. Go ahead and give this a good bump. Check the seam all the way around. Make sure it's nice and tight, there's no gaps. And our door panel is locked into place. Now let's go ahead and install the 3 bolts securing the panel. I'm going to put my bolt in my socket here, line that up. Get that started. I like to thread these in as far as I can by hand. Do the same inside here. You can use a regular ratchet, you can use your impact, just snug them down. If you take your sail panel cover for the mirror itself, install that now. You're going to put the tab in and then just press in on the top. And install our light on the bottom here. So you want the light portion to be on the bottom of it when it goes in so that the clear portion is on the lower section. Line that up, push it in. Now when this goes on, the front tab goes in first and then push in the back, like so. Take your switch harness, line everything up, and install it. Lower this down. We're going to install the back in first, and then press down on the front. Pop that in. Install the door handle trim. Set that in there. Just gently press it in. The lower door pull trim here. I'm going to line this up. There's 4 little tabs on that. Press that in. We're going to install our latch or our lock unit right here. Now in our case here, if you want to, go ahead and grab that and just pull that rod up in case it was in the down position. Drop this down inside. Press that in. There you have it. Now at this point here, once you get all of your trim in and your covers and you've tested all your switches again, everything is good. At that point there, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.